Hello my friends and welcome back. It is episode 80. Before we land, let's just quickly check in with Pascal and see if he has anything else to say. Oh, what's she doing hiding in the corner? This is new. For the first time, she takes a deep breath through her nose and barely audibly exhales. Her body remains as relaxed as ever, but her eyes are still closed. Your presence does not seem to be in any way distracting for her. I hope your condition is not part of some Xeno malady.
A reasonable thought, but one that occurred too late to your inquisitive mind. You have gotten what you wanted. Your clamorous presence has pulled me from my immersion. So tell me, what brings you here?
You were deep in a special Eldari mediation, weren't you?
Yes. I am sometimes surprised by the depth of your knowledge of my kind's customs, Alantark. But even if listening is your only skill, that in itself elevates you above billions of other monkey. My meditation is immersion. Immersion into myself, my inner world. It is my chance to speak to myself, but without words, or to heal wounds that cannot be seen with ordinary sight. It is difficult to explain, even in the language of the children of Asurian. There are so many meanings and shades in its sound alone, and the monkey tongue is too sparse and awkward. No. Immersion must be seen to be realized. I should say, Alantark, that during meditation, the mind does not leave the body. Part of it remains vigilant, monitoring what is taking place outside. So I heard every word you said, and I saw everything you did.
I didn't do very much, though. I actually stopped pretty quickly.
I am disappointed by your lack of restraint, I will admit. Every day, you become more primitive, more like other monkey. Do not allow your bestial nature to win out. I can see that there is more to you than that. Immersion requires concentration and unity of mind, body, and spirit. Entering this state unprepared, or coming out of it suddenly, can be harmful.
Fine. I've been mulling over our conversation and can understand why you do not like people. I think there's something else, something I cannot understand.
What do I see? Your words ring with the desire to know the soul of another.
Okay, we've heard that before.
Alantark, look at this world in very different ways. And I see many more facets, and deeper meanings, and brighter colors in it. But to capture the full truth of this world in the miserly language familiar to your ears, will take time. I will come to you with an answer later.
Huh, should I say this one?
The minions of She Who Thirsts could sense my soul behind the thick walls and thin veil that separate your fragile lives from the roiling fury outside. A child of Asurian that dared to wander beyond the veil, within the reach of an outstretched claw, protected only by the barrier of unreliable monkey technology. It is too tempting a quarry for the monsters that serve Cylon Thresh. Our ships never venture beyond the veil, and I never traveled the way you do, monkey. Ilantak, I admit this was a novel experience. I lost composure, let dismay into my heart, and almost strayed from the path. This moment of hesitation drew the attention of She Who Thirsts, but I summoned my will and used the knowledge of meditation to achieve balance, and hide my soul behind an impenetrable wall of resolve. Future journeys beyond the veil will still be difficult, but I will steel my heart and not let the hounds of Cylon Thresh pick up my scent ever again.
I see.
What do you wish to talk about? The words of truth.
Okay, I wasn't expecting to do more plot with her, but there we go. I was expecting there to be more with Pascal.
May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored without our little talk, Shireen? Argenta? What could be more beautiful than the sight of a sister of battle, whose mere presence casts light in the dark corners of lost souls such as mine? But alas, what remains of my sanity is telling me that poor Jai can only admire the radiance of this angel, forsaking any hope of ever touching her wings.
Oh dear. I get it.
I have not.
I get it. I didn't want to get it, but I get it.
My apologies. 19% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual. The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Deus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly. Notwithstanding his permanent state of agony, he was not cognitively dysfunctional. His desire to immediately destroy the object he had deemed profane was partly dictated by his engrammatic augmentics, which were receiving imperatives from his battle harness. In light of the oddness of our matching identification codes, I find merit in his hypothesis as to the existence of a clandestine malevolent agent or conspiracy operating inside our fraternity. No data available. I will hypothesize that the assassination was instigated by an enemy of the Blessed Amanat's doctrine. I accept the possibility that the assassins were targeting me, only to be led astray by Tarsus and my own identical identifiers. I am concerned about the fate of Archmagus Amanat. According to Opticon 22, he went missing in the wake of the incident on an Arch Mechanicus, the Hermetico. Information about that ship and its perishing has been purged from the archives. I accept the possibility that the incident on the ship, the concealed data, and the assassination have all been part of a single conspiracy. I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Amonat's teaching was in explorator circles. The Cognizance fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron. Of course, faith is dangerous. Faith is the prerogative of the spirit, and a spiritless mind is an enemy of all existence. Without faith, there is no meaning in anything, no point to any aspirations or limitations. But faith can take different forms. The
Okay.
form of prohibitions established by unknown elders. The form of an audacious violation of those prohibitions. The form of following dogma or of schism. The form of following the cycle or of discontinuing the cycle. In a system with two courses of action, schism is inevitable. And only one of these paths will be true, as truth is discreetly separate from untruth. Amonat did not reject any one specific prohibition, but found their cumulative effect to be oppressive. The system of rigid limitations had confined seekers of knowledge to a circular track, spelling doom for the thinking mind. And that cycle of repetition had to be broken. That was why he was dubbed the Messiah of Discontinuing.
Only a fool would find no flaw in the creed, but true faith does not look for flaws. Faith is more than a set of rules and consists of ideals which sometimes come into conflict with dogma. And I have been given the gift of will to set the dogma straight. I prefer to believe myself in my own ability to decide independently what is right. Faith is just the shackles of obedience. It's good for controlling my subordinates, but not good enough to control me.
It is a stable path for growth.
Let's go with the top one.
The minds of different individuals are not equal. The revelations bestowed upon them are not equal. Some must guide, and others must trust those who guide them. We are all guided by the Omnissiah, and perhaps it is only thanks to his first prophets and the prohibitions they gifted us that we still exist. I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence. May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Okay. What is this? That was weird.
Hello, Talk.
All right. Of course.
Maybe there isn't much plot left to be extracted from her. My personal log states the ship's Vox system is malfunctioning. Can you explain? The Vox system is functioning as expected. No communication problems have been reported by any of the crew. The Vox Master's thin fingers dart between hundreds of wires and cables on the control panel, flipping switches and turning dials. Okay, it's odd.
To what do I owe this visit?
Lord Captain. Lord Captain.
Greetings.
I have enjoyed.
Okay, I don't think there's anything more going on here. Let's go. Might be fun to have a Xenos in my entourage. Just because. The Emperor protects. Welcome home. I am Clementa Wersoren, Court Chancellor of the von Valancius dynasty. Archelius and Secretary of the Administration Department. Hope your journey to Argus was not darkened by unwanted troubles. The Emperor protected us! Does your lordship want to survey the grounds, or perhaps you could state your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Urban Divestream has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus and will visit the palace shortly. I am from House Wersian. Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. She earned Lord Captain Theodora's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood had nothing to do with it. Let's be nice. Where's my governor? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Drivestream's residence is the other side of the world, by the administrative palace of Dargonus. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Chancellor Warson seems unruffled But you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. They are very close to town hall. There is also where the study and audience chambers are. This is very China going on here right now. It's disturbing, to be honest. Just hordes of people clapping away. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival we arranged for it to be tidied up. I apologize for your bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps, before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes of conversation with me. I am certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valancius Protectorate most useful. Okay.
What's a peculiar thing?
Goods? Maybe I should take Jay's stuff if I'm going to be making checks out here. Or maybe I can just wait until my party reunites. The plaque lists the names of each rogue trader to have led the Von Valancius dynasty dating back to the day since the capital world was founded. Man, do they do tours here or what? I love that. A living fruit-bearing tree in the heart of a hive world is a fantastical sight. Probably use a lot more water to tend to this tree than the average Argonian citizen can receive in their daily ration. Let's go to the palace. Welcome, your lordship. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scar, informed me that he humbly awaits you up there. For once, the text is really slow. If you wish to rest, then your personal chambers are up the stairs and on the right. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, will be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Interesting. Oh, looks like there's old chaos blood dripping on the wall.
What do we have here?
Eh.
This could be an opportunity.
A multi-melter. Mysterious Xeno artifact rests in a stasis field. Oh. 10 bonus to tech use. Also increase the damage of plasma weapons by 3. When the wearer hits an ally with an area attack, the wearer gains 1 stack of the zealot effect until the end of combat. The wearer deals 10% more damage with their area attacks for each stack of the zealot effect. So if you're happy to barbecue your own guys, you can gain nearly infinite damage buffs. Wow, that's perfect for him. So I don't think anyone else will be using plasma weapons. Sit down. The room is remarkably quiet and almost homely. Perhaps your predecessor used it when she sought complete solitude. Among Theodore's data that has been restored of your cogitator is the phrase Litanies of the Motive Force, the title of one of the books here. As you pick up the book, a hidden button in the spine clicks under your finger. No, it's me. Do you require assistance? On second thought, we'd better just leave you in peace. You recall a vision of the past that Ira told you. She said that Theodore's favourite wine was Flame of Purity. Okay. The room responds to your actions with a quiet, grinding sound. A small nook reveals itself in the nearby wall, and you find a databank varying the Von Valancius coat of arms. Sweet. What do I do with it? Okay. Well, we got the data slate. I have no idea what to do with it, though. That's quite the view. Well, I got the data slate, I just have no idea what to do with it.
This is intriguing.
The fact that I'm on my own right now makes me wonder if I should just rob the stat boosters from her. Temporarily. The lack of observers on this world has led your nobles to become extremely complacent. Today alone I overheard 3 statements that, if I so wanted, could be turned into grounds for a charge of heresy. I hope your cousin is feeling well. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you as well as wishes for your swift return. As long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. I'm not so foolish as to fail to notice a conversation in code. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as the agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scandler was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Cronus Expanse. I will do everything in my power to track down and destroy all of Conrad Vogtgevier's accomplices on the capital world. Do you know what happened to him? Because he's a heretic. Word of his treason has reached Dargarnus too late. Conrad came to the planet and left almost immediately, once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumours he started is that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt. It seems unlikely that the Wardens got to everyone who allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. I have already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, is perfectly aware of Dargonus' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles of most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest. Nobles of Dargonus are well-respected, rich, powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favour for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Blah 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 blah. The Drive Stems are an ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the Von Valentius Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail, with evidence that Urban Divestein's rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find these attacks always a little too advantageous for the Drive Stems, but we lack solid proof. The closer an official is to the rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valancius heir, not his servant. Garprax hail from a remote forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnisire. The house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiva Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. Religious and hardworking, the Svorabaks own many enterprises, including distillation manufactoriums that produce promethium. I must note lately that members of the Svorabak family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. The Warsians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonis, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they were never granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonis, and secondly, other families do not see them as equals but more as upstarts and clingers to the rogue trader's favour. After hearing all that, I now feel the urge to have every one of those sicko pants executed at once. You are naturally well within your right, Rogue Trader. Remember that this will cause a multi-layered bureaucratic system of donors, your entire protectorate, in fact, to come apart at the seams. It's not even considering the likelihood of the attempted reprisals from families and their allies. I would hold off on the death sentences, act with restraint and wisdom. Present for all to see sufficient proof of unwanted house's guilt. Do not mistake me, mass executions are one way to solve your problems, but in that case you should weigh up every possible scenario before you act. And this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose to both you and humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse, warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. Do not doubt that Governor Divestem will beg for your protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the Rogue Trader and his mighty void ship to avert disaster. Okay, we did that. Officially, I'm the secretary of this world's administrative department. Less officially, I'm afraid I can't disclose that to even you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root upon upstanding planets of humanity. The residents of local systems are no strangers to skirmishes with the enemies of humanity, but recently loathsome beasts seem to have completely flown off the handle. We have identified the breed of Xenos that pose this threat, the Drukari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in hope of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics. Overwhelming evidence indicates that a Morid void station in Langren's belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the Chancellor of a need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to these scoundrels yourself. Whom do you truly serve, the Rogue Trader or the Interrogator of the Inquisition? And who does the Rogue Trader serve? The Golden Throne, the Protectorate? Could be one that stems from the other, and if so, is there any sense in discussing it? Can understand your desires of trade, have everything under control, yet I'm not at liberty to make use of classified information related to the interrogator's agents in whatever way I see fit. There's no point in pressing my agents. None of them would ever reveal such vital information, especially not in my presence. About 5 years ago there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate and I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul and the skilled physicians of Dargonis saved my body, except for my lungs, which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. There's a whole lot of talk going on this planet. This is a confusing mess, this place. Your Lordship, the Governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Sharp glaze, impeccably straight back composure. For a moment you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed part of her body, Clementia saw her fair share of combat trying to assume the position of Chancellor. To put simply, I am your trade representative. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, palace estates, many gardens, and other dominicies on Dargonis that you have inherited. All the deals and important decisions I made here in the capital many years ago, an ancestor, Lady Theodora, signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighbouring systems. Dargonis is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. Lastly, Dargonis has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Unfortunately, not at this time. It's how do we maintain contact with the other worlds? After a few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonis went into a frenzy, some of the Psychers were tragically pacified by our respective authorities. Since then, communication with neighbouring systems has been unreliable at best. Over the many centuries, intricate hierarchies formed within the ruling elite of Dargonis. Great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished to a large degree thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Apart from disrupted communications, Dargonis was recently raided by the enemies of humanity. However, the fleet under the command of Captain Marthius Werserin triumphed over the accursed Xenos. You catch her avoiding your gaze for a moment. For the first time, it's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name. Despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. Urban Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonis, but throughout the Protectorate. Oh, J is being used here. So I guess her checks are still working. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. We have different views on how to run a world. Sometimes discussions over laws that are enacted. We both work for the good of the Von Valancius Protectorate. Secretary Scandaler is an outstanding individual, loyal servant of the von Valancius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain. He's proven himself quite capable, and I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Asilius, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. So maybe I should put these trinkets back. Okay, I don't think there's anything else for me to do here. I can't go this way. Edmund von Valancia, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the secret warrant. Blah blah blah. Urban Drivestum, governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valancius. Allow us to declare a half year of mourning so that we can honour the memory of our beloved lady. Sure, whatever. Lady Theodora was a strong leader and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and persevere in spite of this tragedy. Okay, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, astropaths of Dorgonus flew into a rage. They had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak to neighbouring worlds, but contacts are still weak. All the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given the vast majority of ships in the Dargonis Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the von Valancius dynasty and billions of its subjects are presently at risk. We'll investigate this at once, as well as the fact the ship had to acquire a permit of the Administratum Seal. Does your nephew still serve as the Administrative Palace? I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, can you believe it, on the rogue trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Lord Captain, it would seem that somehow Conrad got his hands on a copy of your authorization, perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a traitor does not bode well. Lord Voltavir visited the capital some time ago. He did not request a personal meeting. To be frank with you, your lordship, Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us. Absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumours and misinterpretations. Conrad Vogel was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such some might heed his words. Publicly rip out the vocal cords and tongues of every slanderer, replace them with vox implants that sing the praises of rogue trader Edmund von Valancius without interruption. I think that should serve as a reminder of who rules this world. I couldn't care less what they think about me. I am the successor whether they like it or not. My subjects' doubts are understandable. Subject all who has dared to make heretical marks about the road trader to servitude in perpetuous. Machines aren't prone to dissonance. Damn. Let's go with Iconocaust because it's the only option that's not insane. Your desire is most commendable, but please do not forget a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. We are troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supply Douglas and other plants with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. House Garprak is preserved by the loss of communication with industrial world Kiva Gamma. If you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is Penal World, Varbus 4, one of the key mining suppliers in your protectorate. Your lordship, I beg you do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions by any way. See, without Varbus 4, the manufacturers of your worlds will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments in these troubling times. I already visited Agri-World, Janus. Governor Vlad found herself facing a number of problems in my absence. Vistenza succumbed to worshipping the ruinous powers and was executed. Ruinous powers! Truly horrifying news. Xenos, your lordship, I don't know where to begin. Otherworldly beasts, not an uncommon sight in the current expanse, but have menaced to the worlds this side of the moor for decades. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we were able to slay some of the deranged psychers. Issues on a smaller scale, there's a certain degree of tension in the capital due to unorthodox secession of the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprising are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumours is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nevertheless, prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. Eliminate the most prominent malcontents quietly, but do not threaten entire families. Hopefully these steps will be enough to keep the rest from causing any trouble. I care not what those hyenas are yapping about behind my back. Leave them be. They are no threat to me. Make arrangements for public purges. All who have sullied the rogue trader's name must meet their death on an executioner's block. Send the disgruntled nobles lavish gifts on my behalf, and make sure that my generosity does not go unnoticed by the rest. Man, we've got kill my political rivals. Do nothing. Go absolutely nuts. And purge everybody. Or bribe people. I think making friends, you get more done with the carrot than the stick. Your inauguration as the bearer of the sacred warrant is a matter of time. I'd like to inquire about one crucial detail. Imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented under oath by one of the noble houses. I presume then, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Driveston. Any noble house can be. Driveston family, which I lead, Garpak with long ties to Adeptus Mechanicus, Sawbacks known for their piety and diligence in service. Perhaps I should also mention the Wersians, who have some influence but are not actually of noble origin. I don't care, just don't fight too hard over the bone. That is the bottom option. You know what? Abelard has served me well. Let's honor his house. I bet this'll cause some upset. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor of the Wersian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you. Dive Steven tosses Abelard a look that lacks even the smallest shred of respect. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that Wersians, whose lineage traces back to a navy officer, are not of Dargranus nobility. Such decisions may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship. I don't like this guy. He doesn't smell good. Thank you for your time. Since duty calls, I should take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Okay, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next, but we are out of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.